We've all seen those companies, the ones that look amazing on paper, but behind the scenes, it's just chaos. Well, today, we're going to dig into the blueprint for a business that actually works, a model for building a company that's stable, efficient, and honestly, a great place to be.
I mean, if you've ever been in a leadership role, you know this feeling. It's that sinking sensation when your marketing team is pulling one way, the sales team is pulling another, and operations, well, they might as well be on a different planet. You've got all this talent, all this energy, but it's just scattered. And that right there, that's the absolute core of what we're talking about today. See, you could have the smartest people in the world and a product that's a game changer, but if they aren't working together, if they're not integrated into a single coherent system, you're just leaving so much potential on the table. The secret, the real magic, is alignment. Okay, so achieving that alignment, that's the big challenge, right? The solution we're going to walk through is this integrated organizational development model. And this isn't just theory, it's built on more than 25 years of hands-on in-the-trenches experience. It's all about connecting the dots. So the model breaks down into 4 really logical stages. Think of it like a roadmap. First, we figure out exactly where we are. Then we build a rock-solid foundation. After that, we fine-tune our processes. And finally, we empower our people to make sure all that good work sticks. The key thing to remember is that each step builds right on top of the last one. All right, let's dive into step 1, seeing clearly. I mean, it's simple, right? You can't fix a problem if you don't really understand it. You can't improve what you don't measure. So this first step is all about getting a brutally honest, data-driven picture of what's really going on inside the company. The whole point here is to swap out assumptions for actual facts. We all have ideas about what's working and what isn't, but before you can make any real, meaningful change, you have to get that clear, accurate snapshot of everything, the good, the bad, and yeah, even the stuff nobody wants to talk about. It's your starting line. So how do we actually get that accurate picture? Well, we use a whole toolkit of diagnostic methods. We're talking about things like employee satisfaction surveys to really get a pulse on morale, or mapping out your work processes step by painstaking step to find those hidden bottlenecks that are just eating up time and money. It's all about gathering real hard data from every single angle. Okay, so once you have all that clear data from the diagnosis, it feeds directly into step 2, building the foundation. This is where we stop just looking at the problems and start actively building the framework to make the whole operation stable, predictable, and strong. At its heart, this stage is all about 2 things, fairness and clarity. Just think about the impact. Imagine if every single employee knew exactly how things work, understood why they're paid what they are, and was crystal clear on what's expected of them. That level of clarity, it builds incredible trust. It lets people focus on doing great work instead of wasting energy on navigating office politics. And look, the stuff you build here, it's tangible, it's real. A responsibility matrix, for example, boom, it completely gets rid of that, oh, I thought you were doing that mess. Or a modern market-based salary system. That's how you attract and actually keep top talent. These aren't just boring documents in a folder. They're the absolute bedrock of a stable, fair workplace. Okay, so we've got this solid structure in place. Now it's time to make it fast, efficient, and smart. And that brings us to step 3, the lean advantage. Now, lean is a whole philosophy, really, focused on one thing, maximizing value by ruthlessly cutting out waste. This is where we tune up the engine and really empower people to make things better every single day. And the transformation here is, wow, it's night and day. You go from having these murky, confusing processes to having standard work that literally anyone can follow. Problems that used to be hidden and festering are now out in the open where everyone can see them and help solve them. The entire culture shifts from, mistakes happen, to how do we get to 0 defects? And this quote really nails why lean is so powerful. Its genius is that it's not some high-level, abstract theory you talk about in a conference room. No, it's intensely practical. It weaves process and problem-solving directly into the day-to-day job. And that's how you get real, tangible, measurable results. All right, and that brings us to our final step, which is arguably the most critical piece of the whole puzzle for long-term success: powering the people. Because let's be real, you can build the most brilliant systems in the world, but if your people aren't engaged, if they aren't growing, all those improvements you made, they're just going to fade away. So, the whole point of this stage is to make the change stick. This is where the rubber meets the road. We connect all that amazing system building we did with actual human development. It's about giving your teams the skills and the support they need, not just to use the new system, but to truly own it and even make it better over time. And you can see this in action. It means doing very specific things like coaching your leaders so they can actually guide their teams effectively. It means running programs to build up new skills and competencies. And it definitely means creating open communication channels so information flows freely and people can actually, collaborate. So after you've gone through all 4 of these steps, what do you actually end up with? Well, you get an integrated organization, a place where all the different parts are no longer fighting each other or pulling in different directions. Instead, they're all working together like a single, well-oiled machine. And that's really the heart of it all. Truly effective teams don't just happen by accident. They're the direct result of an environment that's been intentionally designed to encourage open communication and joint problem solving. The system makes the teamwork possible. Here's another way to look at it. The entire model really supports what you could call the 4 pillars of performance. You have your product or service. That's built using your process and technology. All of that is governed by the operating system you've created. But none of it matters without the person at the center of it all. This integrated model is what makes sure all 4 of those pillars are working in perfect harmony. And when those 4 pillars are finally in sync, that's the moment you stop just being busy and you start being truly effective. That's when you begin to create real, sustainable, and measurable business results. It's the difference between chaos and a finely tuned machine where every single part is doing its job perfectly. So, this all brings us to one final, crucial question for you to think about. In your own organization, are all these parts really working together? Are your products, your processes, your systems, and your people, are they truly aligned? If the answer isn't a clear and immediate yes, well, now you've got the blueprint to start building.